I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. Let me say this. At the time of this recording, there's been at least like 6 videos, not including this one, in the past 2 weeks. That's very unheard of. Usually there's like one video every week. So um there you go. So add this to the list of things that were very unexpected. Mattel keeps doing things for Barney that are never planned. They're always just sort of spontaneous, and it leaves me in a bind because now I have to report on it in times where I can't really do that. Nevertheless, I saw this on Facebook first. It wasn't really announced anywhere because, I mean, it wasn't really much of anything aside from just a big gathering of characters together. But trust me, we got photos, we got videos. I'm going to show you guys everything. So basically, the Licensing Expo happened yesterday or a couple days ago, something like that, at the time of this recording. Basically, what that is it's a big gathering of companies where they show off their characters, they show off their products, they show off things that they're doing and working on, and it's basically just a big gathering of characters again. These companies just showing off what they have, and it's really just like a great place to go and take pictures with your favorite characters, I guess, because like they're all going to be there. Every company is just clamoring to talk about the things that they're making and the money they're going to be making, all this kind of stuff. They hold it every year, and of course, Mattel, being a huge toy company, was also there. Mattel had a booth, and they had a bunch of like walk around characters, and there was a photo that was taken where it was a bunch of characters that Mattel has like the licenses for, as well as just a lot of other characters that were in other booths that just came together to take a photo next to Mattel's booth. So you see like Sonic the Hedgehog and Bluey and all kinds of stuff. And it doesn't take the trained eye to notice that in this huge spread of characters in this one photo, there's one character that looks like a knockoff of someone that we know, but I assure you it's real, and it, of course, is Barney the Dinosaur. Who? Yes, this is the official costume variation of the CGI Barney redesign that we've known of for the past few months, or actually the past month. When did they reveal it? Anyway, so this is Barney, or at least this is the costume variation of what we know now as the rebooted Barney. I think I just said that. But looking at this, when I first saw this, I was very mad. I was very, very angry because I didn't know what to think at first. I mean, it's very clearly exactly a one-to-one of what we were given for this new animated series that we still know virtually nothing about, right? This is exactly what he looks like as the model, and it's exactly what we should have expected for them if they were to make a walk-around character for it. Now, this very much is a walk-around Barney. This is not a performance Barney. This is not a suit that's going to be jumping around and dancing and doing sing-alongs and that kind of thing. It's very much just exactly it's what you would imagine you going to like a birthday party and they had like a licensed Barney. This is basically what they did back in the early 90s when Carrie Stinson was doing birthday parties as Barney. It was just a very like straight shot. It's not anything super elaborate, but it exists for what it's for. This is a Barney that's going to be around taking pictures with people at the expo, and that's all it's really done for. Now, what I will say, there are pros and there are cons. Let me start with the pros first, because all in all, this is an impressive costume. Now, is it the Barney that we've known for the past 30 years? No, and I don't think it was ever going to be. Mattel's looking to cut costs when it comes to Barney, so the fact that they're going CG instead of live action means that live action is not as important to them. Therefore, this is what we ended up with. That being said, I've seen people saying like it's really impressive how they were able to get this costume design working with just one image of Barney. But I also need people to understand the fact that yes, this is Mattel's official costume. However, again, it's Mattel's official costume. It's probably commissioned from someone else for Mattel to be used officially at this expo. So being that, again, it's Mattel, they of course have more photos and videos and just like a whole show bible probably for this new Barney series that we know nothing about. We don't know anything about it, right? They do. They're making it. So it's like, of course, they're going to have just a wealth of references to go for when it comes to making something tangible, So, but even still, this is really impressive for just wanting to whip something up for like an event. I don't know what else they could be using this for. I mean, of course, no one knows, right? This is the first time we're seeing it. And it makes sense that they would want to show it at such a huge event like this. So only Lord knows what else they could be doing with this Barney costume. But for what it is and for the purpose that it's serving, it's actually really kind of nice. Really kind of nice. Wow. Do I even want to give it any credit? Now, the first like hour or 2 hours after this photo came out, it was so hard for me to find anything about this design. You know, people were taking pictures at the Licensing Expo. People were there, right? But like nobody was taking photos with Barney. Of course, Barbie was there, like the Barbie car or whatever was there because of the movie and Mattel, blah, 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 whatever. Bluey was there. There was a bunch of other characters, Sonic the Hedgehog, but like nobody was taking pictures with Barney. And I was like, is there some sort of embargo going on? Like why do people not want to acknowledge that Barney was there? It looked like Barney was like at the entrance to the expo. So it's like, he's there, people see him. Why don't people want to interact with him? But like eventually we got more photos, as I'm showing right here, of the design. And again, it's very interesting. It's very interesting that this is, again, it's like a one-to-one. It's like they just pulled it right out of the photo that we saw of the redesigned model and just made it. Now, of course, the mouth isn't going to move. The mouth, or rather, the head is separate. So it's not like, again, it's not like the Barney we've known for the past 30 years. It's mainly just meant to be a walk-around character. It's not going to be like a show-accurate, whatever. Like, it serves its purpose. For the most part, it is Barney. Like, that, aside from, of course, the arms, and I'll get into the cons in a little bit, but it looks competent. It looks very, very confident, and I think it's very charming. The longer I let it sit and settle with me, the more I enjoyed it. You all know that I hate the elbows. I hate that Barney has elbows, but like I feel like it works well enough with this costume. I think that's probably just because it doesn't move all that much. This Superformer was probably paid like $100 just to come and stand in this expo. Probably not much. I don't know, but again, it serves its purpose, and I'm not offended at all. It very much works better as a costume than it does a model, and I've seen people saying that as well, and I have to resonate with that because, or rather, I have to agree with that because it's so much sleeker when you get to see it imagined in real life, you know, and I appreciate that a lot. The stomach also has like those lines that go around, like the texture that we saw on the model to make him look soft. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like he would look a lot better if those weren't there. He would look more smooth and soft without those lines that have to tell you that he's soft. You know, you don't really need that. But aside from that, he looks pretty all right. I like the toes. The toes are fine. I remember that was a big thing when the model came out, is that he had like elephant feet, but like it looks better in the costume because it's like you can very clearly see it better defined, and it looks great. I don't know why the tail is, I wish the tail wasn't like up. It very much is carrying after that cartoon design where the tail was never touching the ground. I feel like it would be better if it did, but it looks okay. I don't really, the head looks fine, the eyes look fine, the nose looks fine. It just looks like the model, right? And that is a-okay with me. I think this is fine. I don't really care that it looks like a Party City costume because, as I've said many times before, it serves its purpose and it is all right with me. Now, in terms of the cons, yes, it is a Party City costume. I don't like that he has fingers, and I've said that when we looked at the model. The fact that he has fingers makes no sense to me at all. There are 4 fingers, and upon further inspection of the photos, he has fingernails, which is absolutely disgusting. I feel like that ruined it for me. Like, the fingers were like, okay, I don't like it, but I can get over it, I'm sure. But when I saw that he had fingernails, that really took it away from me. I was like, I don't like this anymore. I don't like his hands. They could be so much better. I don't know how they came up with that. Like, why would you decide to put fingernails on him? It looks kind of gross. That's about it for the cons. I mean, again, we don't know what else they're going to be using this costume for. It looks fine. I don't have anything against this design at all in terms of it being a walk around. It's really interesting that this is the first time we're seeing this as a live action character, and technically we haven't really had to wait all that long to see it, you know? I mean, of course, we're probably not going to see it in the actual rebooted show, but like, it's interesting that they decided to do it this way and have it just at the expo, as opposed to doing just a formal announcement or just showing him off on like their Instagram or something. But I guess I guess it makes sense. This live action is not going to be their focus for this costume at all. It's just going to be showing up and take a picture with people. But yeah, I just think it's fairly interesting. One also thing I wanted to point out is when we got the picture of the model, people were doomsday saying, and I was partially part of that. People were doomsday saying that like they're going to make him a child in the animated series, because if you look at the model, his proportions are very much that of a child. They're very small. They're not what you would expect from Barney. He looked very, very short in the model. But then you look at this, and this is Barney. This is Barney's height, right? I don't know if it's shorter, if it's definitely not taller, but like this is what Barney's height generally is, But and I wasn't sure how to take that, because this could very easily just be them wanting to have an adult performer in the costume as opposed to somebody shorter. This probably doesn't reflect how Barney will be presented in the show. This is probably just them, doing the mascot thing. All mascots, for the most part, have an adult, like a general, like 5'8", whatever person inside their costume, because that's what you would expect from a mascot costume, so that I don't know if this is just that or this is what Barney will be like in the show. I hope this is what Barney will be like in the show. Barney does not need to be a child in the reboot, and I think so many people are against that. He's a teacher. He's here to help you learn and all this kind of stuff. He's not a child with you. I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but all in all, I don't really know what else to say. Like this didn't offend me at all. I think, we grew up with something different for 30 years, and this is a new take on that. Regardless, it's always, I feel like whatever they were going to do with a costumed variant of this new Barney was going to feel like a downgrade no matter what they did, right? We grew up with something so much more elaborate, something so much more technologically impressive with what they did with it, that whatever they were going to do with this new one was going to feel like a massive downgrade. And does this feel like a downgrade? Yes, it does. It's very apparent, visually apparent, that like this is not the same sort of standard that we're used to. At the same time, it's not something to just brush off. This is very impressive. I'm very impressed with what they came up with and how they presented it. I think this is really nice. I like the photos that the people have been taking with this costume, and it's very charming to me. I think it looks really nice, and really, I feel like this video is probably the opposite of what a lot of people were expecting. I don't hate it. I really don't. I think it's wonderful. And especially being that we're probably not going to see it in the show, I like that it exists at all. They didn't have to do this. They didn't have to make a Barney costume knowing that their character was going to be CG in the show, So I appreciate that they did go about that. Some people were saying, like asking, what would this mean? Like, what does this mean in terms of the last Barney costumes that exist? The one that Carrie Stinson last used in 2017, something like that. The ones across in other countries doing Barney appearances. What does this mean for the last remaining Barney costumes? Nobody knows at this point. No one knows that they're still going to be used. I'd imagine they're still going to be used. And I'd also imagine that Mattel has mass-produced these new Barney costumes to be used and sent out to different places, to different events and stuff like that. I wouldn't imagine that they're going to keep producing the Barney that we used to know, unless they're focusing on like new live-action content or just further promoting that Barney on YouTube and stuff like that. But again, like I'd imagine that they are mass-producing this new one and just sending them off to places, because that would make the most sense for them just making this at all. It would be a little bit sad if they discontinued the past look for Barney. Again, I don't believe that would happen. I hope that wouldn't happen. But like, we grew up with Barney for 30 years. We have so much of that, and regardless of how much of a downgrade this feels, we'll always have that. And I think that's something that I've sort of had to accept with this new Barney, is the fact that, I'm 24 in like a week, right? So I've grown up with Barney all of my life, and I've known Barney all of my life. Like this is Barney for me. This is my Barney. He's always going to be there. He's always going to be around exactly as I remembered it. Everyone has their own Barney. I think I've mentioned that in some of my other Barney reviews and stuff like that. You know, the whole philosophy that the show taught, that as long as you have a plush of Barney, your Barney is going to look different compared to someone else's, you know? And if this is the new generation's Barney, then okay, sure. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'll learn to love it, of course. Like, that's what you have to do, really. I feel like I just had a massive character arc. What kind of development is this? But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this costume variation in the comments. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you learning to love it? Let me know what you guys think, and I would love to hear what you guys think. For now, I'm going to head out and eat. Right now, I'm recording this. It's like 11:22 at night. I wanted to get this done and have it up for you guys in the morning, but I hope you guys have a wonderful day, or having a wonderful day or night. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for boarding my rainbow line. I'll see you guys at the next stop. See you. Say goodbye, Barney.
Who?
Andrew, Brandon, Caroline, Donnie, Emilia, Gwen, Helen, Ian, Junior the Hedgehog, Megley, Mia T. Toon, Nerdy Disney, our friend Barney, Samuel. Thank you to all of my Rainbow Line passengers. See you.